namaste to one and all watching us. Okay, this is one of the beautiful, give back from the Soulful Exploration, and this is a company that was founded. It's still my baby, and my co-founder will also be watching it from when it's loaded onto YouTube. We want to kick this series simply because there are people who may not be able to access, especially at the time when we have Corona. People are not able to travel, but we can travel to them, right into the confines of their bedroom, right? And wherever they are, we want people to know that we're there with whichever area of their life that they may be having a challenge with. So here's a very warm welcome to whoever is watching. And yes, I am going to choose our very special guest in just a few moments. And this is again a namaste to each one of you, wherever you're watching from. Soulful exploration and soulful conversations with us, right? So how this is going to be is today we've chosen the topic of relationship, and who other than, of course, Olga Valdepena, joining us all the way from the USA. And I know it's nighttime for you, Olga. And the only reason I know I had to, reach out to you is because she's a relationship coach. And who other than a relationship coach will understand the triumphs, the challenges that go along with a relationship. Everybody, we have relationship issues with probably anything and everything, right? Don't we have that? It's not something that we need to, stop ourselves from moving ahead or even tell ourselves or give ourselves reason to believe that I can't be, in the sense, triumphant in this particular relationship. I'm not meant to, have a good relationship, or I'm not good enough. These are beliefs that we somehow put ourselves through, and that is not our truth. And to extend this, I wanted Olga to be here since she's an expert on this to take us through. And every week, guys, you're going to have something, to watch. We're going to be taking different aspects of life. It's going to be relationship, money, work, career, love, food. We have relationship with so many facets of our life. But today, back to Olga, spotlight's on you. So we're going to have a wonderful, soulful conversation with you and connect right from the heart.
Yes,
And as we chat, let's hope everyone who's watching understands not that we are prophesizing something, we are preaching something, we are professing something, we're just sharing what we think is some sort of a, a go-to place, our experiences, our way of dealing with things. And of course, in your coach fraternity and what you've been dealing with so many people over so many years, and even all your own relationships. My first question, not to open this conversation, would be, do people take relationships for granted these days? Are we not doing enough to make relationships work for what they're worth? And when I mean relationships, it could be with a loved one, a partner, a spouse. It could be with our children, with our parents, with our sibling, with just about anybody. Are we just taking relationships for granted?
this is a great question. Great question. And, I really want to say that we tend to do that a lot, to take relationships for granted. Now, especially even, I want to say, like, when it comes into a long relationship, specifically in a marriage, specifically like with your children, it could be, because as time goes by, you just get too comfortable. You get too comfortable. You think they're never going to go anywhere, and you take them for granted. And it's a sad thing until people really start setting boundaries or even break up, which is like, ouch,
Yeah.
But you bring it to their attention, then that's when things, you hopefully reunite, start communicating. And forgiveness is one thing.
Forgiveness. Yes.
Forgiveness is super important. And I always say, forgive quickly, you know, and really communicate and get back on track because, like I said, in a long relationship, it's bound to happen, you know. Um, and what I've noticed too during this pandemic, a lot of people have what they've had to come together,
Right.
you know, really come together because they can't leave the house. It gives you no choice but to really bond, get to know
Right.
each other at a different level, and not take each other for granted because God forbid, you know, like we get infected
Uh-huh.
and you know it can lead to many things. But you know, that forces you to not take each other for granted.
Granted. It's so, I mean, it's so
Mhm.
brilliant when you say that sometimes when you are, or all of us, when we are in a relationship that's probably decades old, we do have a
Mhm.
tendency to take the other person for granted and not just about look at, okay, how do I bring back the spark in this? How do I
Right.
bring back the magic in it? I guess it's one thing of becoming aware of, okay, if I were to look at this as a very new, at the newness, and then you start even thinking, okay, what can I do more? What else can I do? And that question, as a relationship coach, it's like literally putting your hand into magician's bag and pulling out, okay, here's a hat, here's a rabbit. I'm pulling in all the tricks, and you don't stop till you feel satisfied from within. Hey, I think I've given it my all. And I love what you said, Olga, about forgiveness. And I do get this question, when I am coaching people as well, being in the mind space and a mind coach. A lot of people say, you know how hard it is to forgive? I said, yes. And I tell them the sentence, and I'd love, to have your thoughts. I tell them, to
Mhm.
not forgive people because they deserve your forgiveness, but forgive people because you deserve your peace of mind. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. It's like 100%. You said it. That was like key right there. Because what you do for yourself, you know, as forgiving and moving forward, really genuinely forgive, which takes practice and it takes like that, you know, that, oh, I don't really want to, right? But do you understand what they did to me? Do you understand what they said to me time after time? But that's why I say forgive quickly
Quickly.
because because it roots in us. Yeah, it roots in us. And what starts happening? It overtakes us. It makes
Right.
us bitter.
Mm.
And it brings us to a bad place. So it's it's catching it as soon as possible and you know, get over that. You know, like you know, your relationship is much important than just get over that ego, you know? Get over the
Mm.
ego and start communicating. Um, so
And
yeah.
if there were about, let's say, you had to, we're living in a fast-paced world. Everybody's looking for solutions just like at a snap of their fingers, right? So if
Mm,
you were to, sitting where you are, all the way miles away from, where I am in India, if you were to actually tell our viewers, the audience, if there were three quick things, that they can do to somehow, put aside their ego for that moment and think, okay, what is it that I can do? The three things that I can do to rebuild, to reconnect, with not just themselves, but to make that relationship work. If there were just three things that you would, top of your head.
to rebuild. Oh gosh.
Ah,
Gosh. Well, you can always rebuild trust, you know.
mm-hmm,
Start building start communicating. It's super important.
mm-hmm,
Trust, communication.
mm-hmm.
And forgiveness is huge, like I said,
Huge.
forgiveness.
Right.
Because if you're not able to forgive, you're gonna have resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah? You tell,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I forgive you, but really you gotta really forgive. And then you start, once you start feeling that peace within you, then you're gonna want to open up to communicate.
Wow.
Yeah?
Wow.
Then when you start communicating, you start feeling a little more ease, and you start building the trust. And those are the steps. Those are the steps, not the
Wow.
other way around, you
Wow.
know.
I love the
So,
way you're saying this because especially when you said, when you start feeling yourself, it's the forgiveness, it's a feeling. It's not a word. And correct me if I'm, expressing this, well, it's a feeling. And once you start to forgive people, no matter what they've done or what you think they've done, it's a perception, right? You start to feel light from within. And once you start feeling light from within, obviously there's more scope, there's more space to rebuild that relationship. Would I be right if I say that?
absolutely, you said it perfectly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happens. It has to be in those steps. You can't move forward. You're not gonna be kidding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It
And
just, yeah. And so it takes time. It absolutely takes time because, and it's just that it's that faith. You need to have faith in within yourself and in the relationship. You are in a relationship that it's not always beautiful. You're not always on your honeymoon. So that's why it is very important to, like I want to say, uh, meet someone that you're compatible and not someone that it's just chemistry,
ah, wow.
you know?
Yes. Yes.
Because, yeah, and then, but yeah, moving on, I guess.
Oh, but this
Not
is
just,
nice.
yeah.
It's not about, I understand when you say it's not about, thinking. At that moment, yes, the chemistry might definitely be the thing. But then when you start realizing it's about a lot of compatibility, and it need not just stick to the physical space, but it also goes to your mental compatibility here. There's a variety of things that we actually, there's so many dimensions to a compatibility, right? But
Hmm.
there's one thing that I remember, when we just started, a lot of people, within relationships, and like I said, whatever nature of relationship that you may have with whichever person, people are afraid to say no. I'm not sure if it's a cultural person or it's a belief. A lot of people believe that if I say no, I might be disrespecting the other person. They may leave me and go away. You're held. You're just stuck, right? When I say you, we're just stuck with these kind of beliefs saying, oh, let me not say no. Let me just give in.
Hmm.
So, what would you say to
Hmm.
this thing? How do
Oh,
people
yeah.
drop boundaries if they really think it? Like, I personally feel it is perfectly okay to say no, because then
Yes.
you start to value yourself, right? You become
Yes,
important to
yes, yes.
you. So,
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
then the relationship with me is better. Then I'm in a better position to see everything outside, and I can rebuild or recreate beautiful relationships. So, any pointers on saying no?
Yes,
How do we
yes.
say no?
You say no like with love. Okay?
Oh,
So, this is what you do.
sure.
I love you, but no. It's everything you say in love. Okay?
Wow.
It's important because you're first putting it out there like, I'm saying I value you, I value us, but this is not
Wow.
working. You want to get down into a nice, calm, not shouting and
The
getting
drama.
offensive. You
Yeah.
always come down and you have to say it all in love. But it's important to say no, because you want a healthy relation. You want to set healthy boundaries.
And if I may
Healthy
ask,
boundaries.
when you coach people, I'm sorry to interrupt, when you coach people, when they come and say, I don't know how to set healthy boundaries, how would you actually tell them? How do you set healthy boundaries in a manner that you said, with a lot of love? But let's say the other person is not willing to listen to it or feels let down. How do you still go ahead and set the boundary? How do you suggest to people that we do it?
Well, it depends on every situation. So if they're say they're being verbally abusive,
Ah, mm,
okay,
mm,
of course, it's like absolutely not okay.
mhm, mhm.
And you basically have to tell them, like, I will not accept this regardless.
Mm,
And what you say, when you say no, you need to really stick to what you're
mm,
saying, your words. You
mm.
really, because if you don't, you won't be taken serious. You got to
Serious.
take yourself serious,
Yes,
right? You got to take
yes.
yourself serious for other people to take you serious too. And I always just come back to, I really value our relationship, but this, you're not, you need to explain, like, you're not going to be happy and I'm not happy. So let's meet
Let's.
together
Wow.
in the
Wow.
middle. And, people need to have self-control,
Wow.
you know, and the way I am showing my partner or is I'm having self-control, so I never raise my voice to them because I'm expecting them not as well. And if they want, I would be like, I will walk away right now because you are raising your voice, and
Mm,
this can't continue. And
right,
that's how
right.
yeah, and then they start recognizing that, okay, she's not going to talk to me right now, because they recognize, okay, if I'm raising my voice, she's
Yeah.
not gonna she's not gonna sit here
See.
and give in to me, or stoop up to their level as well. Yeah,
Wow. No, I
that's one
guess,
approach.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, go
that's
on,
one.
go on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, just that's one approach.
Mm,
And like I said, it varies from
yes.
partners, and then
Yes.
from every situation. you know I've gone through many steps, much deeper steps.
Much deeper, yes. And I
Oh
guess,
yeah.
yes, when people get into a deeper session, there's a lot of things that start to emerge. And I realize that it's very
Hmm.
situation and very contextual. But I really love, when you said it is, if we don't respect our space, our boundaries, nobody else is going to do that. So I guess every relationship externally is more how we connect back to ourselves. If we value, if we love and respect ourselves enough, I guess everybody else is going to do the same thing, because that's the signal we're sending out there. Hey guys, I'm, very serious about it. And I can
Right.
say the same thing
Right.
with love, like you said, right? And that's what it is about. You compassionately fill it with love. You say, yes, I value this relationship, and that's the reason I am saying no. Only then you can recreate and rebuild relationship. I guess we talk about relationships so much, and I've started telling people, change and actually make it connections, and then just see the switch in your mind. When you start connecting to people through your heart, right? And yes, there is so much of dynamics that changes in the mind. Ego is set
Mhm.
aside. Somehow your heart is filled with more compassion. You're able to understand why you actually like the person, or you wanted to, quote unquote, fall in love with the person in the first place, much beyond just the chemistry part. I guess those things start to become very clear, right? Like they say, stare a person's eyes and you know it's the window to,
Their
their
soul.
soul. Yes. So I guess that's what each of us have got to be doing. And wow, if I were to just sum up what you said, I loved, you said forgive. We've got to drop and shed our ego. Forgive quickly. I like that thing. Forgive quickly, right? And trust. And you said you were talking about how to set boundaries, how we
Yes,
connect back to ourselves and value ourselves to be able to draw that boundary, not just because we're protecting ourselves, but we are placing that relationship very, very important in our lives. And it's so important to
right.
know ourselves and where we are to be able to have very healthy boundaries, reconnect with ourselves so that we
Yes,
can connect with the external world as well. Look,
yes,
that's what
yes,
we're doing
yes,
here. That's
yes,
how we
yes.
connected, right?
Right, right, right.
Yes, that's what. It's a
Yes,
connection of the heart.
wonderful.
Yes, yes. And it's so beautiful to, have you. I know it's late night for you, and still I know hearts connect. We always connect to the hearts. And no matter what the time is, we're always willing to step in and share beautiful messages for people across the world. If
It's
there's
my
one thing that you'd like to sum up for our audience, for the wonderful people who are actually watching this video, what would that be?
well, how we want to sum it up is by just know that there is hope. There's always hope.
Oh,
If you are willing, it's the willingness of putting in your part
wow.
and don't live in fear. Don't live in fear of being afraid of not saying no, that it's going to bring you to more trouble, because that's not a way to live either. Or
Beautiful.
giving them the silent treatment, or giving into the abuse, where there's physical or emotional abuse.
Mm.
But just know that there's absolutely hope. There's hope. There's hope. And
Ah, let's hope
there is. You
there
have to just
is.
be, you have to be willing and be a brave soul.
I completely, and I guess this
One,
message will touch, all wonderful people, wherever they are watching. Hope, yes. Every situation which is very unknown, which is very unfamiliar, brings in a lot of fear. But I guess hope is the one, and that is so deep within, that
mhm,
creates that space for us to not just think positive, but also be in a space where we are able to look beyond ourselves and pass on that
mhm,
hope to others as well, right? I mean, I guess that's what,
right.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
wow.
that's why it's important to address things as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
because things, linger on, and yeah. But if both are even willing, like I said,
Uh-huh.
it's all it's also possible. I've had many cases, that they've struggled for years and
Oh.
years, and they put in they're willing to put in the time, and then
Mm.
rekindle it's very important, and they see the value in each other, and you make
Oh.
them sit together. There's one exercise that I have them do, is
Mm.
have them sit together and look at each other.
Oh.
At the time, there's a lot of emotions going on, so they're not wanting to do it on their own. But because, excuse me, I ask them to sit together, look at each other, and they have to give each other affirmation.
Oh, yes. Affirmations. Yes.
Affirmations.
Beautiful.
They do one at a time, and
Suppose there's just one
beautiful.
affirmation that you'd like to
Absolutely.
share. There's one affirmation that you'd like to share with the world. What would that be?
You
Just
know,
one special one.
one special one. Oh,
More like you're just giving that away to the world. What would that be? One beautiful affirmation. You never know
you
who it
know,
can benefit, right? You never know whom it's going to touch. Yeah.
you know, not many people hear this
Uh-huh.
sometimes, but just to
Uh,
simply just look at someone in their eyes
eyes.
and just really look at nothing else, but try to really look into deep into their eyes, and they sense you. They sense
Yeah.
that. Okay?
Yes. It's a feeling.
Sit very quietly and just look at them and just
Oh,
sometimes not even say anything.
that stirs up so much of
Stirs up.
love, so much
It
of love
stirs up.
from within. Yeah. Looking into someone's eyes just stirs
It
up
stirs up.
so much. Yes. And
Yeah,
it's so
and
beautiful.
at the same time, it can stir up a lot of emotions, different emotions. But when you sit and quietly and say nothing and just look into their eyes, and that's when people start opening up. Whatever that feeling is, it's okay. It's okay
It's
to
okay.
feel.
Yes.
Which a lot of people say, "Oh, that's weak." It's weak for me to cry. It's weak for me to start keep talking about my past. But things need to come up for a reason so you can address it and say and ask yourself, like, why am I feeling this way? Yeah?
Right.
Not
Right.
to say you're complaining, not to say that, like I said, that you're weak or you're being vulnerable.
Yeah.
There's times for everything.
So beautiful. So
Yeah.
beautiful. I'm having goosebumps right now because as you were talking about, just looking, I know we are screens away, miles apart, but if I were to just, focus, and which is what I was doing when you were talking, it
Mhm.
just brings tears to my eyes because it stirs up something, right from my heart. I feel my heart just swelling. And that's what lovely people relationships are all about. Relationships are not about
Mhm.
ego proving to the other person how they're wrong, you're right. It's about understanding where you are, what you want, what is it that you're feeling. And believe me, if you've got to fight to keep the relationship, you know you will. But yes, forgiveness, love, hope, trust, and respect. And that's
Oh,
I
yes.
guess it's the beauty of it. It just sums up a beautiful relationship with whoever that is. Olga, I mean, it's like so beautiful having spoken with you. And I know the time is very short. There's so much, and lovely people will know how they can reach out to you. Thank you so much for joining us, for giving us those tidbits of information, and God bless you. Let the divine bless you for the wonderful work that you do. You share a very beautiful energy space with people so they can lead better lives and they can have better relationships. They
Thank
can
you so much.
create meaningful relationships. So to all those who are watching, you can pass on your love to Olga so she does more of this wonderful work. Okay. Love you. And
I
this
love you
is
too.
this is Anu Krishna, and it is so beautiful. Please watch our next conversation with another beautiful guest coming up very soon, and subscribe to our channel Zen Moments with TSC. TSC is simply the Soulful Exploration, and leave in your comments. Please even interact with with our guest today, the host me, so you can interact with both of us, mail us, ask us questions. We'll definitely be there because
Absolutely.
I know we're all in similar energy spaces, and if there's one thing that all of us together want to do is to reach out to people and to help them, to guide them, and to see that they are in a space filled with light and love.
Yes, yes. You're
So
never
much.
alone. Never alone.
Never
Thank you
alone.
so much.
Thank you so much, and loads of love. Loads of love.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.